course, MUFON Ontario is no longer with us, but that's okay. Do a Google search for Canadian UFO organizations, and you'll get a plethora of stuff. We're no United States or Australia or Mexico, for that matter, in regards to UFO organizations, but we do have quite a few investigators who are really pushing the limits and trying to spread this information. So go online and check that out. Wow, lots of mouthfuls. Woo! What are we going to talk about next, everybody? Let's see, what do we got? Oh, we've got some great, fantastic news, actually. I want to get into a couple stories right now because I've been blabbing for a little while. But before I do that, just quickly, I want to mention to you that the next two interviews coming up on the Unified Field, you don't want to miss them, everybody. We got Cleary Croft, a local writer who wrote a book called Witchcraft, coming up. He talks about Eastern Canadian witchcraft dating back to the 15th century and beyond. Pretty interesting stuff. I think I may have come across a little hokey to Clary. So if I did, I'm sorry, Mr. Croft. I take that stuff very seriously. I think there's a real substrate going on of quote-unquote magic in reality. I think that we're only starting to understand with new revelations in quantum physics and beyond. So anyway, it's a great interview. He's got a lot of cool stuff to say. Yvonne Smith is coming up. Of course, she is the following in the footsteps of the great UFO abduction researcher and investigator, Mr. Bud Hopkins, author of Missing Time and a plethora of other books dealing with the abduction phenomenon and hypnotherapy. So you don't want to miss that one. All right, on with the news. What are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about this crazy, outlandish story. Is it outlandish? You be the judge. Louisiana swamp monster, photographed from a deer stand camera, and it was plastered all over the place, including MSNBC and 9news.com. Go online here. Check this out. The projectavalon.net. Do a little searching there for unknown creature photographed in Louisiana, and you get something here that looks like some kind of weird shaved or albino wild dog. But from the perspective of the shot, kind of looks like a humanoid. Let me read you what it says here. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A photo snapped by a deer stand camera is drawing a lot of questions. Some think it looks like a creature from another world. Quote, "It looks like an alien from another planet to me," end quote. Scott Durham of the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries said. Wildlife and fishing experts looked at it, but they don't know what it is. One expert joked he hopes he never runs into it and hopes it's a vegetarian. Looks like a skeleton of some kind with a little skin on it. Glowing eyes looking into the camera, end quote. Jimmy Staten said. Check it out for yourself. Look at the picture. He's got some glowing eyes. He looks kind of scary. He definitely looks like something from another world, but it really does look like a walking zombie, basically. It's pretty spooky stuff. Check it out. Open Minds reports SpaceX launched a secret payload into space. And this is a really cool story, but turns out that we've gotten to the bottom of it after all. This is now, look, SpaceX is their Dragon capsule is private industry launching the first space vehicle for tourism in space, and they were doing routine test flights apparently for quite some time in space, and the stories leaked that there were secret payloads being delivered, which made everyone insinuate that something else was going on. This wasn't just a mere test flight. And then all of a sudden, this article pops up on Open Minds. I want to read it to you because it's hilarious. SpaceX successfully completed the launch and return of their Dragon space capsule on Wednesday, but it has now been discovered that the craft contained a secret payload. Wait for it. A wheel of cheese. Science.com explains the Wheel of Cheese launched to honor a classic skit from the British comedy show Monty Python's Flying Circus, in which actor John Cleese tries to order cheese from a cheese shop that has no cheese. Dad, maybe you remember that one. I don't know, I don't. Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX, kept the cheesy payload secret until after the successful completion of the mission to prevent news of the space cheese wheel from overshadowing the success of the Dragon space capsule flight. And of course, SpaceX's Dragon capsule made history by becoming the world's first commercial spacecraft to launch into orbit and returned to Earth safely. Interesting story there, all about a wheel of bloody cheese. Weird. Anyway, other side news, we got some NASA here launching Expedition 26 Soyuz to the ISS, the International Space Station, of course, on Wednesday, December 15th. A little bit of news there for you. You know what? I think for now we're going to break things up a bit and play a little Cadence Weapon for you. This is a track off his latest album, as far as I'm concerned, Breaking Kayfable. It's a track called Grim Fandango, right here on UFR.
Skulls and crossbones, bone heads and bare limbs, a spare grin when I tear the air apparent. Daring to be truthful, breadwinners with no scruples, using the youthful light skin with sleepless pupils, looping a suitable sample for chance to soul. I'm not ill and killing or chilling, I'm lamping cold, I'm rational, even when I'm slashing your nose. Let the kid snatch his souls quick in the past with show flip. I'm just fast with flow shit, know this like it's progress. I know best, who can roll swift without blowing cess. I notice they know this is no diss, just showmanship for my programs, which I had a dream in which I was shot with my hands raised. To my place in complacency, yet the man blaze. Memory vague, but the scene resembled a police raid. Dance, devil dance, grim fandango fade. Come through your hood with a sick demeanor, cause I got thick skin like myxedema, and on it is an emblem of a movement of the grave. It's a speech of princely pauper with slave in his cheek, raising to bleed. This is bunker rap, punks react with screams when the thunder claps. Fuck knowing I rap truth, well versed in the ledge. Punchline smack you, gap tooth like Percy Sledge. After fluid movements, learn how guns can conduit. Came through with 3 life or 2 truants, 1 translucent, I'll bust a capillary when I'm 1 blood above facts, and I cop your late records. Yes, I'm fucking with that. I see you bucking with gas. I'm slapping your wrist, amateur shit, student. I'm the master of this. I told a smoking gun in hopes that cancer sticks. A star was born, but now you have no asterisk. Chicken and hurricane consumer, believe me. And if I see you and you BC, then I CC and I see you, and I know you don't wanna twirl with bars, cause if you and I verse will end up worlds apart. I got 1 love for 22 twos, obscene flow, changing states with amazing grace. They call me free throw. It ain't foreplay for banners to the doorway, or horse say play for while I say foreplay. Damn right I fuck fans and I rush up live bringers, meaning I fuck up fans. Get punked with 5 fingers, line spitters, catch the AK day tripper, or a 6 shooter who does 7 sins to make 8 figures.
Welcome back to the Unified Field. That was Cadence Weapon off of his newest record, I think, Breaking Kayfable. That was Grim Fandango on the Unified Field. I think we're going to keep breaking it up here, and we're going to listen to a little interview here. Actually, it's the next segment of the Calendar of the Paranormal with the lovely Sylvia Richards of Dartmouth, hometown spun. And she just put on a psychic fair in Cole Harbor, and it was a great time. Some really interesting people out there, and some cool psychic readings and stuff taking place. So she was so busy putting that together that we really didn't have much of a chance to have her back on in probably at least 2 or 3 episodes anyway. So we got her back on the horn today, and she relates to us a story. Normally, Calendar of the Paranormal relates to this date in history, somewhere in history, where something paranormal or unexplained happened. So the story today isn't really a December 18th story somewhere in history. It's actually slated for the last show that I aired. But it didn't happen with everything else going on in our lives. So we had her on today to talk about that story that we missed, and it's a great one about a giant mothership in the Yukon. So let's get right to it. We'll play the Sylvia Richards interview and see what y'all think about it right here on the Unified Field. Herbalist, extraordinary lady. She just put on a psychic fair at the end of October, and she's a correspondent, our paranormal correspondent for the Calendar of the Paranormal right here on the Unified Field. Thanks for coming back, Sylvia, and putting up with this stuff. P.S. everybody in Radioland, this is a non-censored radio broadcast, so all of you who heard my expletives, that's a rare live occasion. I hope you enjoyed that out there. All right, let's get back to it.
Oh, wonderful to be with you.
Well, we're glad to have you back. What do you got for us in the archives today?
Today we have a story from the Canadian North. Right. Come back in time with me now to a cold night in the Yukon on December 11th, 1996. Where more than 30 people saw a massive UFO the size of a football stadium move slowly and silently across the sky. When one witness pulled up his truck to the side of the road to get a closer look, his two-way radio malfunctioned, nothing but static. A local restaurant owner commented, "Everyone was excited. People were drawing it, talking about it, and getting excited all at the same time. To keep witnesses' identities anonymous, they were given code names." Listen now as we explore the Yukon UFO mothership incident.
Wow.
So about 8 o'clock at night, witness Fox 1 was driving along the Klondike Highway along Fox Lake when he noticed a light in the distance. As he got closer, he saw that it illuminated a smooth, curved surface. He looked away as he was driving, and when he looked back, it was gone. Then he saw a group of rectangular lights moving behind a hill to the east. Further down the road, he pulled into the Brayburn Lodge, where he gave Steve Watson, the owner, a description and drawings of what he'd seen. A little later, two cousins, Fox 2 and Fox 3, were driving north along the same stretch of road in two separate vehicles. They spotted a huge craft hovering over the frozen lake. Both braked and stopped about 570 meters apart. Fox 2 got out of his vehicle for a better look. Fox 3 watched as the UFO drifted slowly towards his cousin until, after a few minutes, it was almost directly on top of him. It was enormous, smooth and solid with many lights. It continued to drift slowly across the highway and then out over the hill to the east and disappeared behind it. Fox 3 noted that the time was 8:30 p.m. At the same time, Fox 4 and Fox 5 were approaching the tip of Fox Lake, heading north, when they saw rows of lights slowly moving across the lake. Fearing for the safety of their 2-year-old son in the back seat, they decided to continue quickly on their way. Fox 5 noted that the time was 8:23. None of the witnesses heard any sound from the object. A few minutes later, seeing Fox 2 and Fox 3 standing beside their vehicles and looking up at the sky, they pulled over to talk. All four witnesses eventually stopped at the Brayburn Lodge about 21 miles away and gave descriptions of what they saw. Fox 6 was driving near the lake that evening when she noticed a glow on her dashboard. It was not explainable by her interior light. Leaning forward to look up through her windshield, she saw many multicolored lights overhead. Her interior lights dimmed and the music from her tape deck slowed down. Between 8:30 and 9, to the northeast of Pelly Crossing, that's about 2 hours north of Fox Lake, Hal 1 was tending traps when he saw a long row of lights moving slowly over the hill to the southwest.